Psalm 91. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near you, your dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation.
Hey gang, Scott McKay here, Patriot Street Fighter. Come over to His Glory TV and watch the real news.
And we want to welcome all of His Glory Nation from east to west to north to south. Welcome to today's Take 5. We have Jim Breuer with us today, and we'll get into with Jim. We'll get a couple announcements, but we got an amazing God story he's going to share. We'll go through that, but one of the funniest guys I've ever met, and I don't just say that. We'll get into it with Jim. Hysterical, and does it for the Lord as well. All right, Father's Day bundle. Father's Day is coming up. Give Dad the best gift of all, Father's Day Kingdom Bundle. The best part, you'll save $43, 20% off. You buy these items separately. So you will receive one Kingdom Fuel, Kingdom Energy, Kingdom Candy, and a His Glory shaker bottle to go to hisglory.me shop or hit the QR code right there. Great bundle. Just start my day with Kingdom Fuel every day. And Kingdom Candy is my in-between breakfast and lunch. All right, Chronology. We have a BOGO going. Buy one, get the second one free. Free shipping. Great stuff. Use it to sleep every night. The Cowboy Up brand, too. I got a praise report. The Cowboy Up for animals is helping our bull Boaz. Boaz is actually running again. He was eating out of my hand yesterday. I had to get sneaky of getting him the Cowboy Up, but he's running again, so that's good news. All right, you ever wanted to work for His Glory? We have an opening for producer, editor, on-screen talent here, who will be a Jill of all trades. Our studio here in Texas, we're looking for a youth pastor as well to join our ministry here in Mount Pleasant, Texas, to start a youth group. And we're going to be building a 10,000 square foot worship center, God willing, next year. If you're interested, go to website hisglory.me careers. All right, His Glory Tree Fund. As you know, we had to take the 22 acres. God always has a plan. There was beetles in these trees that we had to take down, but that's where the worship center is going to be. So we're going to put trees up. This is the His Glory Tree Fund, offers you opportunity to plant a legacy in faith and hope at the His Glory Ranch. Your contributions will enhance the natural beauty of the ranch and symbolize a lasting commitment to God's creation. Everlasting legacy. Put your name up there. It's going to be absolutely great. All right, Lindell TV on His Glory. As you know, Mike Lindell's trial is going on right now. It's coming up to the end of it. I think closing arguments maybe today. So hang on. You could watch all that, Lindell TV streaming on His Glory at News Now Channel 3 at hisglory.me live News Now. Chris Burgard from His Glory will be on the ground. We had an update yesterday in the War Report. We'll have an update again today on how things are going with Mike. Again, please pray for Mike. He is putting it all on the line for this country. All right, those are all the updates. It's time for Jim Breuer. Jim, welcome back.
What's up, Pastor Dave?
It's good to see you.
It's great to see you. This is first of all, I'm a little under the weather, so I may sound a little messed, a little nasally or whatever. And second of all, for all you new viewers, stop judging the way I look. This is God's funny joke on me. I look like this all the time. Now, with that said, so I want you to you start. All right, we'll do this. So I'm about to tour, right? Now the tour that I'm lining up for next year, I've had this calling, Dave, my whole life to do these tutorials. Basically, they're what do you call them when you're telling God stories? They're your testimonials.
Yes.
And when I tell you I have testimonials, I go back all the way to my very, very young self when I started being very aware of God and God's presence and the Spirit of God and grace and all that. So for years, we're talking, 20 years and then some, although I love doing stand-up, my real calling, which I've always feared because I didn't want to be boxed into, is this guy not religious? Was he going to start giving us the religious stuff now? Has been to put out stories, these testimonials of bringing in all the people that stand in the because yes, church works and Pastor Dave, but there's a lot of people that don't trust church anymore. Pastor Dave, you know that. Yep. You know that. There's a lot of people that don't want to hear the old stories of the Bible. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of youth. There's a lot of people like, and no offense, when you start going back to old stories, even me, I'd find myself going, oh my gosh, I've heard this story. Do you people not get this? We told this story 80 times already. Oh my God. Talk about something I can relate to right here, right now. And so I joined these young kids came along. So long story short, I went to do a podcast, Naples, Florida. There's a lot of young kids working the whole podcast. And I was watching them run the whole thing. And when it was over, I said, do you guys run this studio? And they're like, yeah, they're all young. I'm like, yeah, we're a production company, blah, blah, blah. I said, can I try something with you guys? I've been dying to do something for a very long time. Sorry. They said, that would be amazing. So I went in and I told them a God story. And to see these people, like all the young people, like people my age, your age, we get it. We've experienced. Right. But to see these guys who went, oh my gosh, I'm like, yeah, this story's amazing, right? Then I started telling more. And I was there for 4 hours.
Wow.
And I said, let's see what we can do. And then each person started giving their story. Like this kid, a Jewish kid, he grew up Jewish, had a horrible cancer at a young age, 19, got blood cancer. And he said, it was the Christian community that really gave a lot of prayer and really came to me. And I felt extremely loved. So now this kid, when I heard his whole story, I'm like, wow, that's holy. So he told a story. This guy told a story. This guy told a story. So we went in and we started filming these things. And I've always struggled with what's the name. Years ago, I would call it Funny How God Works. All right? Funny How God Works. Because to me, I say years ago, around 2010, I started throwing God out there in my stand-up. And now we filmed this series, and now it's about to tour. And these kids who are putting together these stories, I call them kids, they said, Jim, why not put these stories in a church? And I said, well, I feel like I'm kind of preaching to the choir. And they went, I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people that would come to see you tell these stories that would not normally go to a church. Well, I never really thought about that. I said, but I don't want to come off as a fake, someone that knows the whole Bible and goes to church all the time and blah, blah, blah. And they said, not at all. Not at all. So long story short, I was so nervous because I'm trying to do this with the way I do things now. So in other words, I have a tour set up with my agent for all of next year. There's a lot of money on the table. There's a lot of money on the table. We're in the 7-figure zone. And we were for just 7 weeks. 6 weeks. And in my head, I'm like, okay, are people going to show up at this thing called Funny How God Works? I'm going to have to do a lot of promotion on it. I'm doing it in the stand-up world. I'm trying to convince them this is an amazing thing to say. So not that I was nervous. I'm just like, wow, this is going to be a lot of work. Are people going to show up? Because no matter how much you promote something or you tell them what they're getting, there's still going to be people going, hey, I like this, but this is not what I expected. I mean, I like the heavy stuff and I like that, but I was kind of hoping he'd bat like a goat. I was kind of hoping he'd do something like that. I was kind of hoping he'd talk about head bang, something. You know, I mean, I don't all right, I get it. Your brother died and gave him, whatever. You prayed and this happened. I get it. However, I thought of it this way, and this is the way God showed me forever. I could take the $1 million, or I can reach 1 million lives. And I said, all right, let's give this a whirl. Let's do it. And we went to a church, and we're planning on launching the first couple at this church in Naples, Florida, which I'll let you know. Met the pastor and all that jazz. And so now while I'm sitting there going, okay, we're doing this. And it's on a YouTube. The first YouTube series already came out. It's called Funny How God Works. And the first one is me tempting the devil. And this one was just a throwaway. It was a throw.
I'm Jonathan Rose, CEO of Genesis Gold Group. With the uncertainty facing our economy, it is more important than ever to safeguard your wealth and protect your retirement savings. As the national debt grows and the government continues to devalue your hard-earned savings, physical assets like gold and silver can provide stability, security, and peace of mind. Genesis Gold Group helps our clients transfer existing IRAs or other retirement accounts into physical gold and silver, tax and penalty-free. Now is the time to educate yourself on the importance of including gold and silver. Call now to receive our free wealth protection kit and digital dollar defense guide. Prepare yourself with what experts predict will be the most essential asset class of our lifetime. Call now and we'll include our extremely popular Silver Prepper Bar free when you open your account. Add it to your IRA or have it sent to your home. Call Genesis Gold Group today at 800-200-GOLD, only available through Genesis Gold Group.
Mac Baron Cheese, healthy kids vitamins. You want your kids to have the best, so why not the best vitamins? These vitamins were developed by people you can trust, not by big pharmaceutical companies out for profits. Essential nutrients for growth, development, and immunity. With a great berry flavor that your kids will love. Keep your kids strong, healthy, and on the go with Mac Baron Cheese, healthy kids vitamins. Get yours today at hisglory.me.
It's going to resonate with too.
We're back with Jim Breuer. So, Jim, we're going to. You've heard what was going on. So this story gets even a little deeper. This is a God thing. So I think I think last week it was, or the days go by so fast. Anyway, at the end of the day, I'm just meditating on the Lord and just giving him glory. And he hits me 3 times out of the blue. He says, get in touch with Jim. Get in touch with Jim. Get in touch with Jim. So I sent it off to my team. I said, get a hold of Jim Breuer and invite him on. And I'll let you take it from here.
All right. So now you understand something, Pastor Dave. These kids are going, oh my gosh, we got to play church. We got to play mega churches. We got to play this. And I'm like, all right, well, let's just start with this and all that. And I went, immediately, I took a walk and I prayed. I'm like, God, I just want to make sure I'm doing this for the right reasons. And the first thing I did and what came to me was, contact Pastor Dave at his glory. On my children's lives, on my dad's soul. And I walked in and I went, you guys have to contact. I'm going to give you an email, from an old email. You have to reach out to them. 2 days later, I still have the text. Your team reaches out. And I call my team, like, did you reach out to them? Because they just reached out to me. And they're like, no, we didn't. I'm like, come on. What are the odds of me saying I need to reach out to them? Because to be honest with you, you're a major part of this walk. When we were on the Reawaken, excuse me, I believe it was Dallas. I wanted to come out this way so bad. We did our first interview, and there was a lot of people in that little tiny space. And I remember being silly and funny and blah, 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 but I started telling some heavier stories. And to watch there, the way everyone was reacting and looking at me, you had all different ages. You had all different stereotypes of people watching and resonating. So I have to say that was one of the major seeds that was planted, was being on your show. And now here we are, 4 or 5 years later, I'm doing it. And I still haven't even told my agent yet. Because he's already lined up about 50 dates for next year, 60 dates. But I have to do this. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I will say this. I know I'm going to change lives. God has told me this for so long. He showed me how to do it. He said, stop fearing it. And, there was a time, too, right before I saw you, probably around 2020, in the middle of the madness of the takeover. I mean, COVID. And I was talking with all people, Stephen Baldwin. And me and Steve are talking, well, he's very Jesus. And I never like, is he Jesus? No, I'm like, he had a lot of stuff going on. And me and him talked for a while. And he's like, what are you waiting for? He goes, Jim, I want you to remember the 3 S's: sit still and be silent. Sit still and be silent. And he kept saying, I get these visions, Jim. You're the minister of comedy. You minister people. And when I started thinking about all the things I begged what I wanted to do from the very beginning, not just make people laugh, but I wanted to heal people. I wanted to make people think deeper in a spiritual manner, in a God manner. It's like, God, I hope I'm on television. Boom. There you go. You're on television. I want to be stand-up and I want to be nude. Okay, boom. There you go. I just want a great family. God, if I can, boom. There's a couple times where the marriage was in trouble. Like, God, please come save the marriage, which is one of the great stories in this. Boom. A miracle happens. Like, I want to be with my favorite rock bands. Boom. Who else you want? AC/DC. Boom. Okay, sing with them. Metallica. Boom. Okay, you go on tour with them. What else do you want, Jim? all I want is just to be able to hold my father before he died. Boom. There you go. What else you want, Jim? Is there anything more satisfying? You think something's going to be more satisfying? I'm giving you the power to reach to everyone else. That's going to be the most satisfying thing in the world, Jim. And it took me 5 years to make the move, but I'm not sure I've ever been more excited in my whole life. I'm going to start crying right now if I think about it. I'm overjoyed. As a matter of fact, I even told one of these stories, I think, on the Reawaken when the mic went out. I don't know what city that was, but the microphone went out, and I stood on a chair, and I told the story about my wife, and how all that went down with her finding Jesus and all that stuff. But so here we are. I have no clue where I'm going to go. We haven't reached that yet. I think October we're going to do our first shows, and we're going to have a whole production behind it. It's going to think one-man show, but it's called Funny How God Works. Wow. And I have stories of incredible grace, God's timing. There's stories, I'm telling you, Pastor Dave, nobody's going to leave this without the hair, every hair in their body standing up. You're going to be like, you're not going to know you had hair on your rear end until when I'm done. You're like, oh my gosh, there's hair sticking. You're not going to know you had hair on your calves, on the back of your neck. You're gonna be emotional. You're gonna laugh hysterically, and you're gonna be in touch. And hopefully, there will be people, and there will be, because I already see what it's doing now. Just the first episode, the throwaway episode. I'm not even gonna tell this story on tour. People are gonna be really moved by that, and then from there, hopefully they get closer and closer to understanding what God is. That's all I can do, but it's that's where I'm at.
That's absolutely amazing. I'll never forget that time in Dallas because, first of all, I never laughed so hard in my entire life. It literally hurt. I hurt, but there was something supernatural about that. It wasn't just laughter. You're right. I remember seeing people's faces, and when you start telling these stories, I was like, he's got a bigger calling. This comedian. It touched people. Yes. And that's how we're going to touch people.
Yes. I can't wait. I'm beyond I'm so excited. And I got to be honest with you. I don't even care what, I don't know where it's going to go. I just know it's going to move people. And that's all I care about at this point. You hit an age. I've done everything I wanted to do. I've done he blessed me with everything I wanted to do, with just things and this and enjoying life and the spirit inside me. And now I get to really put them out there. Boy, I can't wait to see people's faces just like, oh, what? Next week is I don't know when the next episode comes out, but you can start watching them on YouTube. It's called Jim Breuer, Funny How God Works. Right now, the episode that we threw out there was my first walk towards this. And then not that I got spooked, but it shows you how far and how long ago I've been trying this. This is like 2009, 2010, somewhere on there. It's a great story, me going to Las Vegas, and it turns interesting. But the next one is about my dad, and when he passed away, and I don't want to get too detailed, but because you're going to be blown out of your mind. It was the toughest loss I have in my life, and I lost a brother, a sister, a great friend. There was a lot of tough losses, but my dad was the toughest one, and that pain lasted a year and a half until something incredible happened. It's basically called The Cardinal, and that'll be the next episode. There's going to be stories of when I thought our marriage was over. Twice that happened in my life, and the most incredible, amazing things when I asked God, like I begged God, and then all of a sudden, boop, he throws something in there like, oh, wow. And I feel like after a while, I feel like I'm in the movie Star Wars. So I'm like, oh, wow, how'd that happen? Wow, God, holy crow, you're amazing. So I'll jump in as we get more intense about this and we put some dates out there. But I think you and I are going to have a definitely going to coordinate something to put this out there for you.
Yeah, we'd love to work with you. We'd love to get you on the ranch to have one of them here that we can bring people in from all over Texas and the world and U.S. I know you're called. You and I had a private conversation. I don't know if you remember this, about 2 years ago, about what's next with Jim. And I could feel the Lord pushing you towards this direction, and you weren't quite there yet.
No, I still had some fear.
Yeah.
I still had some fear of being pigeonholed and being judged, and said, oh, no, I don't fear it anymore. I know who I am. I know what God told me the mission is. So therefore, I don't care what anyone thinks. I know this is my calling, and I'm glad I could do it for God.
Amen. Light wins, and you're going to touch millions of lives with what God has in store for you. That wraps up